right, now. Oh wait, hold on. First, let me reload this tab. This icy was just too busting. Hold on. Anyway, I have to take one more piece. Anyway, as of right now, when I'm talking about this, I've only seen exactly one episode of Ironheart, and that's the first episode. Today, as y'all can see above me somewhere, is the 25th. Today is the day that this released. So, I'm only commenting on the first episode. I'm only talking about the first episode, what I see, what I think. The other two episodes, not gonna hold you. I'm probably not gonna watch till like Sunday or something, a day where I'm doing nothing and just sitting around. That being said, I want to read through these couple of articles and talk about what I seen in this first episode and what cool things it implies, you know, yada yada. Ironheart creator, I'm not even gonna pretend like I can pronounce that, assured any fears newcomers to the MCU may have by letting them know you don't need to watch any of the previous Marvel movies to enjoy Ironheart. That's a fact, you don't. From what I saw in the first episode, I'll say, you don't need to watch any prior Marvel stuff. If you know who Iron Man is, and I say that very loosely, as in, if you know Tony Stark's is Iron Man and that he built the suit and he was rich, which is stuff that even people who don't watch MCU stuff too much know at this point, you know enough to start watching Ironheart, period. There's no specific callbacks and ties to his movies or something like that. Nothing like that. It is completely separate from his story other than those basic facts. Let's keep going. That's true. But if you're a Marvel diehard, you'll be excited to know that the first 3 episodes of the new Disney Plus show has a surprising connection to the very beginning of the MCU that expands the history of one of Marvel's most beloved characters. In the first 3 episodes, we follow Riri Williams. And by the way, this doesn't go through the part where she was a teenager. It skips all the way straight to the part to where she's already an adult. She's like 19. She's been in college for 4 years. For those of y'all who don't know, Riri Williams is a genius. She graduated high school before she was 10 type shit. Anyway, as she goes through the typical Marvel origin story, forced to build herself back up from square one, motivated by the loss of loved ones, which they don't kind of make clear in the show, but, and this is not a spoiler because this was in the comic book like 5 years ago, more than that probably, but basically her, and this one, they added her stepdad to it, but her best friend, Chicago. To try and keep this as low spoiler as I can, her best friend, Chicago, right in front of her. Motivated by the loss of loved ones and dealing with supernatural bad guys. Debatable sentence. She also finds a quirky yet brilliant sidekick to sheepishly help her optimize her Ironheart suit with an interesting twist. After eating McGillicuddy and visiting his shady bunker full of black market weapons, Riri gets him to confess that his name is actually Ezekiel Stane. I didn't get to that part yet. And he has a Ziploc bag full of ashes of Obadiah Stane, his father. Ooh, that was, didn't Ezekiel Stane die in fucking from the extremist virus? Am I bugging? Nah, I ain't see this nigga yet. Yeah, I ain't get to that episode yet. Those who have been MCU fans since it began with the first Iron Man movie in '08 will remember Obadiah as a, yeah, he's the nigga that died, bro. We know. Which will make them, Ezekiel says he's 36, which will make him roughly 17 when his father was killed by Iron Man, canonically. That's still young enough for him to have developed a sort of trauma that'll turn somebody to the type to her weapons of mass destruction as a hobby. Yeah, this is talking about an episode I ain't read yet. I ain't look at yet, so this vibe might go in the trash. Not gonna lie. Okay. No, wait. Okay, this is talking about the first episode. In the first episode of the 3-episode drop, Ironheart introduces a host of shenanigans from the villain hub, lame introduction to the resurrection of a dead friend by the way of AI. Oh! So that's permanent. That's permanent. That's going to be interesting to see, because I thought that was just going to be some temporary shit, because in the comic books, when she finally got to the part where she built the suit and whatnot, Tony Stark at the time was dead, and his AI consciousness gave her an AI named Friday. And in the show, that's why she was dealing with that shitty AI that was like, student expelled, you're locked out and all that shit. Because I don't know what the fuck happened to Friday or Tony Stark's AI in the meantime since he passed, but whatever. Dude, cold as hell. Episode 1 acts as a traditional premiere, reintroducing us to Riri, previously seen in Wakanda Forever, and establishing her current plight as she seeks funding to finish her prototype. I don't know why you don't go to fucking Shuri. Anyway, when the episode illustrates the reasoning behind that desire, centering on the death of Riri's stepfather and best friend, it also manages to bring the blah 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 blah. After easily escaping the elevator, Riri meets the Hood for the first time, taking his proposal to join his crew completely seriously and eventually agreeing to join him after she sees how much money she can make. This, dear reader, is nonsense, and not because the hero is tempted by the dark side. You mean to tell me the same Riri Williams who met Shuri, the Princess of Wakanda, and oh, I forgot how to pronounce that shit, I'm not gonna lie, the leader of the Dormelage, or Dormelage, I don't remember, and immediately called the latter Ashy when she started throwing orders around, saw some ding dong in a leather cape and didn't immediately read them all to the filth the moment he started talking. I gotta take another bite of my icy flat talk, because this is gonna be a crazy one. I hope there's more to your argument, because if this is the basis of your argument, you're fucking stupid and you weren't paying attention. Also, are you black? Like, are you any sort of melanated or minoritized? Like, at all? Because what you said just sounds fucking stupid. This is one of those things where I appreciate when media like this exists, because it shows that black struggles exist and they're fucking stupid, but they exist. Now, this is the same as when Sam Wilson, Captain America, an Avenger that fought for the multiverse, couldn't get a fucking loan for his sister's business at the bank because he didn't have a business email. Let me repeat that. Captain motherfucking America couldn't get a loan at the bank because he didn't have a business email. Now, if you're not reading in between the lines, the real answer why he couldn't get a bank loan was because the banker saw he was black and said, fuck you. He didn't say that word for word, but he said the corporate HR safe way of that, excuse me. The whole point of her turning to the dark side to try and get funding, she says it over and over in the fucking episode. When you black, you don't get shit for free. Tony Stark was born a billionaire, so he was afforded and privileged to have certain opportunities that Riri Williams will never fucking have. Just off the simple fact, her skin was born melanated. And her skin was born melanated in a place where everybody broke. So those two facts right there dispel your whole argument of, well, it's stupid that she turns to the dark side because superheroes must be super. You don't know black people. You don't know black culture. I think this is one of those times where I seen when Sinners came out, I seen a lot of discourse about people saying that if you're white, you can't review Sinners. I would say that that's not entirely true, but I will say there are certain aspects of Sinners where if you're white, you need to shut the fuck up about. So it's gonna be real hard for somebody who's Caucasian to do a true solo dolo review about something like Sinners. Same thing for Ironheart. She spent the whole 3/4 of the fucking episode, 75% of the episode, because the part they're talking about is at the end of the first episode. She spent 75% of the fucking episode saying black people don't get no opportunities for free. That's why I might have to do this shady shit. That's why she accepted it, because she said, yo, it's real hard to get funding. She was getting ready to beg the nigga at the part shop to let her get the parts now and pay for it later. Nigga came in there and said, yo, here's the money. We gonna buy the parts outright. None of that buy now, pay later, after pay shit. Nah, pay now. That's the point of that. Doing shit the right way, as they said 100 times in a fucking show, has a lot of red lines, has a lot of tape. And when you's a regular nigga, we gonna leave the black part to the side just for a second. When you're not a millionaire that can fund whatever the fuck you want because your parents started a business that you were born into that was a multi-million-dollar war business, a type of business that will essentially always make money, you have certain opportunities and funding that she will never be able to access. That's the point. They said that. You have to rely on grants. You have to try and fight your way through red tape, or you gotta get your own money. And look at where red tape got her. Back the fuck at home. Creativity getting stifled. But you know, some niggas watch the show and watch shows and just see explosions, you know? Some people's media literacy is so amazingly low, it surprises me from time to time, you know? Despite the marketing and lack therefore of, I can agree about that. Signaling otherwise, the first episode of Ironheart introduces what has the potential to be a decent series. I agree with that. But Riri's response to the Hood's offer isn't just out of character. It's extremely on brand. It also removes the opportunity to acknowledge the villain's goofiness. How? From what I know right now, he's a scammer nigga from Chicago. That don't sound unrealistic to you? Like, and I'm not saying like Chicago is full of scammers or something like that. When you live in any big city, you have a lot of scammers in your city for the simple fact there's a scammer in every town. But the larger your town is, the more likely people in your town are to be scammers. So in a big ass city like Chicago, you don't think some shit like this is happening in real life? Granted, it may not be as cartoony as bring your Iron Man suit and we're gonna rob a bank or some shit like that. But you don't think niggas is scamming on these type of levels? You don't think niggas is scamming on a level to where when he pulled out that box and showed money, niggas will be like, why he only showed that little ass amount of money? Okay then. This just shows you can't have melanation. This is not in the cards. Anthony Ramos looks straight up ridiculous as the Hood. You gotta give the audience a reason to be intimidated or otherwise engaged with the character if they're gonna be running around looking that silly. Not everybody has to be intimidating off rip. You ever heard of a slow burn? If you're gonna introduce some dork in a cape and not illustrate or otherwise explain why is he choosing to look so absurd, you need a character that acts as a stand-in for the audience's reaction, especially in a ground level show. She has a fucking metal suit that she can use to fly around, and the Hood is a magical villain. What the fuck about that sounds ground level, but okay. Because she's black, yeah, let's go with ground level. We do see a small moment in the first 3 episodes where the mild-mannered leader takes a monstrous turn. Yeah, because he's made of fucking magic. But not until episode 3. Haven't seen it yet. Until then, he's just some guy. So it sounds like they did set him up for a slow burn. And judging off the stupidity and lack of media literacy and awareness from the other part of this take you said, it sounds like they show you he's a villain real fucking quick, and that they dropped all 3 of these episodes at the same time for a fucking reason. I don't even think I have to read the rest of this. You're just a fucking idiot. But what I will say about my overall thoughts, at least on as far as this first episode goes, that shit was gas. Because at first when I saw that episode was fucking 40 minutes, I was like, oh my god. But then I started watching it and I was like, hold on, I'm locked in. And it wasn't just on some, oh, black character, I have to be locked in. Because I was really about to say, fuck it, I'll watch it when I watch it. I don't gotta review this shit. But when I started watching it, I was locked the fuck in. The plot is actually good, and they introduced quite a few interesting characters. That being said, I'm about to boot up and play the Outer Worlds. Y'all gonna see me on TikTok exclusively today. Peace.